So there's this idea called the slippery slope fallacy. And the idea is that, if one event happens, one bad thing, then it'll lead to another thing, which leads to another thing, which leads to another thing. And and then, and you end up completely like way off, like from one little bad thing, you end up with like a really bad thing at the end. And so they call that the slippery slope fallacy, and they say that it is incorrect to think like that. But no, that is absolutely not true, because the Bible actually says the exact opposite of what the slippery slope fallacy says. It is a slippery slope fact, not a fallacy. The Bible says a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump, which means if you add a little bit of contamination into something, it ruins the whole thing. And so one little sin could lead to others down the road. So there's really no such thing as being too cautious. See, that is why we have the current situation we have in, because they said, oh, we can let some, we can change some of the rules in church. We can change our preaching a little bit, make it more palatable to the common person, right? To get more people in church. And it started with that. And as and we are in a very bad position right now in this country, church-wise, Christianity-wise, spiritually, morally speaking. And it all started with just some small deviations from God's truth, just small ones, like 100 years ago. You could probably date it back to, I would say, the 1880s, when all of this started happening. And, small little deviations from the truth, little by little, and then, we're in the situation we're in today. And it seems to be really escalating recently, especially let's say in the last few years. So long before the internet or TV were even a thing, you could blame it on TV and internet why we're like this. But even before then, there was already a heart issue. People were already fallen away from the Lord even before the TV became a thing. And it was just little by little. If you take 99% of the truth, let's say you have a Bible translation, like 100% perfect, right? It takes him, it's 100% perfect. But when you translate it, you keep only like 99% of the truth, 99% of the truth. Well, like, it's pretty good, right? You're still gonna get most of it. But then you take 99% of that, 99% of that, and if you keep you keep translating it, or you keep passing along 99% of the truth to the next person, eventually you're gonna get something that's very different from what you started with, because 99% sounds pretty good, but if you keep multiplying that by 99%, eventually you get almost nothing. It takes a while, but eventually, by the time it gets, after many iterations, you will end up with nothing that looks like the truth. So the slippery slope is not a fallacy. It is common sense. It's a fact. And you really cannot be too cautious. When it comes to the truth, you want it absolute. You want as much as possible. You want 100% of the truth. Small little deviations from it could lead you way off somewhere you'd never thought you'd be. So that is the biblical position, that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. Anyway, see you next time.